I'd like to cover a few housekeeping items. First, please feel free to submit questions in the questions pane throughout the presentation, and we'll be sure to get as many as possible before the end of the webinar. Also, please note that we will follow today's presentation with an email message and further details about Release 108. I would like to introduce you to our presenter, Andrea Winters, and she's a project manager and implementation consultant with itslearning and brings a wealth of product knowledge and experience to today's presentation. Andrea, I'm now going to hand things over to you.
Thanks, Kim. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Release 108 webinar. Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone that these release webinars are really just to give you an overview of the new features and functionalities that you will be seeing coming to your sites within the next couple of days or within a week, depending on our staggered rollouts. But if you need more information, please contact your project manager, and we have some additional information at the end for some help. So we'll go ahead and get started. This webinar is going to be kind of short because we don't really have a whole lot of information in this 108 because we're really kind of gearing up for our back to school webinar later this summer. So as Kim mentioned, please don't hesitate to click the questions box and to add questions as we're going along, and we will answer as many of them as we can. So the first new feature that we have is a new home page. And when you click home now, you will see that it looks very different. Currently, our home page looks more like a dashboard. And this one, you'll see little tiles that will correspond to each one of the courses that you were in. This is currently a student view of the new homepage. And what I like about this new homepage is not only does it give you this nice individual look at each course, it tells you exactly what's going on in each course in a very quick glance. How many tasks that I have coming up that are due for that particular course this week, if there's any new announcements or anything that's been added to the course. Also, for the teacher view, doesn't look much different, but the teacher view, instead of announcements and things like that, has follow-up tasks, and those follow-up tasks typically correspond to any assignments that the students have turned in that maybe the teacher needs to take a look at. So a new home page. And before, I know some people might be a little anxious about this very different change. We wanted to point out that this is the home page, and that the majority of our customers actually have their users logging into one of their group dashboards when they first log into the site. So they will not necessarily right off the bat see something very different. They would actually have to come up to their toolbar and click the home to be able to see this change. If your district has the users launching directly into the home page, however, then you will immediately see this change. The other thing I'd like to point out is that when teachers go into this new home page, they can actually have a little more personalization to their courses. This includes integrated courses as well. They can add a friendly name. And this is something that we know a lot of our customers have asked for. We normally have these long names that come directly from our student information system, our master course scheduling. And so sometimes they're not the friendliest of names, and they get a little confusing. And so what we've added is that the teachers can come in here and color code the courses, but they can also give it a friendly name. So that way, it's something a little more easy to recognize for our students and our teachers when they log in and they see this course name not only on their course card, but also in their course list. The other section of the home page that has changed is the updates. So you'll notice in the home page we have the courses, but we also have updates. And this is a little more similar to what you're used to the current home page looking like, where you have that list of all the updated things that have happened in each one of your courses. but it also has this updated task list that looks a little different. And I like the new task list as well because it organizes it into what's overdue, what's due today, what's due tomorrow, what's coming up later. And this is a cumulative due date. So whereas on my course list, I could see it by class and how many tasks that I have, this one will accumulate all of those tasks together and what's due today, tomorrow, and etc. So it gives you kind of a little different way to look at those tasks that are due and that are coming up real soon. This task list will also carry over into the individual courses. So in the individual courses, it just had a list currently of everything that was due, whether it was past due, whether it was due tomorrow, whether it was due in 3 weeks. It was just kind of listed there on the right-hand side of the course. And so we've carried this new grouped task list into the courses as well, so that when the students actually log into their course and they hit that overview page, they can see their tasks chunked into those very nice differentiated timelines as to what's overdue or due today or due tomorrow. And so it gives students the opportunity to really get a little more organized and prioritize some of those things that are coming up. This homepage layout might take a little bit longer for us to see. We're having a staggered rollout because it is such a big change to our user design, to our UX design, that we want to make sure that this is kind of rolled out in a very streamlined process. So our US customers may not start seeing this really until August, even though it's listed in this release 108 that's coming out or starting to come out this weekend. So we're going to take a little slower release with this one just to make sure that everything goes really smoothly with this change. And so as I mentioned before, you might not actually see the change right off the bat if you don't click that home page, because it depends on how that system admin has set up for your start page for the individual users. And so it might be a little different for each district and what that looks like. So the next update is has to do with our assignments. And within our assignments, we know as educators that self-reflection is an important part of the learning process. And so we have added that self-reflection now to each assignment task. So students now have the ability to self-assess and reflect on their own individual work before they turn something in. And so they can actually self-assess. If there's a rubric attached to that assignment, they can actually self-assess prior to turning it in, or when at the time they turn it in, and then reflection on why they believe that they have that particular assessment. Or if it's a non-rubric assignment, they can just type in a self-assessment and reflection. The teacher has the ability to see this self-assessment and reflection. This can also be utilized in peer assessments as well. And so the students can assess themselves before or after the peer assessment, and then the teacher can see both of those elements and if they align or if there's differences with that. And so one of the other updates is adding to our cloud integrations, both our Google Drive and our OneDrives. And we know that the cloud integrations are very popular, and we are always trying to increase the workflow for that. So you'll notice that we have added on any of the quick link add buttons, whether it's within the lesson planner or directly within the course. When you click add now, these quick links used to just be task, assignment, test, and something from your computer. Now we have added those drives right there for you, so you don't have to click show all and then add something from your drive. So it kind of eliminates a couple clicks for our users. So hopefully that will streamline some of the process. The next feature is the ability to hide the last visit column within the participants tab. So right now, currently, this is in all of our courses. When a user logs in, it shows whether or not they've logged in, and if they've logged in, when that last login time was. So we have the ability to actually turn that setting off now. But I want to make sure that everyone understands this is a system admin setting. So this has to be done by system administrators, which means that this is an all or nothing setting for the entire site. So this cannot be turned on and off per course. This has to be done for the entire site. So if you go in and the system admin turns the setting off, then every single course in the site will not have that last visit column. So that is an option in the sysadmin features, and it is located under those global settings and features and securities within that system admin tab. So other minimal changes that you will see coming very soon with this release 108 is just some verbiage and some terminology. And so when we have, for example, you are adding something in that quick add link and it says add from computer, now you might see add from your device and icons that would correspond to whether you were on a mobile device, whether you're on a computer. And we've also updated this terminology and icons for Chromebook users as well. Kind of eliminate some of the confusion for our end users. If you were updating or adding a file and you were on an iPad and you saw from your computer, we heard the feedback from our users that that's a little confusing. And so we have streamlined some of that verbiage, and you'll see that in this next release in the next few days. In our customized settings, individual users have the ability to change the language within our site, and so that things will be user-friendly for our non-English speakers. And so you have the ability to change the settings, the language settings. With the release 108, we have now added simplified Chinese. That was not available until this release. And so that was a request by many of our customers to have that language added to those customized settings. And so you will be seeing that as well. And so that was very quick. We only had those few updates in this particular release. We are getting ready for our big back to school release that you will see coming up here in the next month or 6 weeks or so. And so if you have any ideas and we want your feedback, please make sure that you go to our ideas portal, which is ideas.itslearning.com/ideas. Again, if you have any questions, you want some specific trainings or help with any of these new features, please reach out to one of us 3 project managers. We'll be more than happy to get you some additional help for that. If you just have some generalized questions, please don't forget we have our support.itslearning.com site that will help some of your questions that you might have there. So let's see, do we have any questions that came up during this very quick release webinar?
I don't see any questions right now unless somebody has something they want to type in quickly. I don't think so. So Andrea, thank you. That was great. And thanks to all in the audience who listened in today. Just a reminder that we'll follow up with an email and a recording of today's webinar, as well as further details about release 108. There will be an email going out this afternoon to all of our customers with the release notes. So be on the lookout for that. So thank you. Have a great afternoon, and we will talk to you soon.